Greencastle, welcome to Channel 8.5 News, tomorrow's news, today. I'm Rebecca Palladino, and our headline news covers an interesting topic in genetics. Don't pick up that remote, this applies to you. To introduce today's segment, we're going to investigate different branches of genetically modified organisms. What is this, you ask? Well, let's start with the basics. As you may remember from introductory biology courses in high school or college, genes are in all living organisms and are located on a stretch of DNA. They code for certain traits, though these traits may not be expressed in certain individuals. Recent technological advances have given scientists the opportunity to figure out the codes of some of these genes. Knowing this information, genes can now be taken out of an organism that naturally expresses it and inserted into a different organism, or host, to induce the same expression or trait. Once this trait is observed in the host, it is considered a genetically modified organism, or simply a GMO. These modifications have been made in an effort to benefit humans and have branched off into numerous directions. Andy Smith, a DePaul University genetics student, is here to tell us about some of these directions. Hello, Andy.
How are you doing?
How are you today?
It's fine.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So how did you become interested in genetics, and more specifically, GMOs?
Well, you see, I was inspired by a genetics topics class I took with Dr. Sarah Beth Redmond. She was always kept us up to date on new emerging studies in genetics.
All right, well, tell us about some of these modern advances.
The modification of crops is a pretty common occurrence in science. What happens is they are able to increase the disease and pest resistance of the crops while also increasing the yield. Goat's milk is actually able to produce spider silk now in mass quantities. This is important because spider silk is actually stronger than steel, more flexible than nylon, and tougher and lighter than Kevlar. Insulin is also able to be artificially produced now through flowers. What scientists do is they insert a human insulin gene into a flower, and it basically becomes a factory constantly producing insulin, which is important because it greatly reduces the yearly cost of insulin for diabetic patients.
Wow, now that's interesting. There has to be other medical advancements made with GMOs.
Well, there sure are. Scientists over the last 50 years have been using chicken eggs to produce flu vaccines.
Well, why is this so important? I thought that they have minor symptoms and that the flu kind of goes away on its own.
Well, you see, for younger people, it's much easier to get over the flu than an older person because their immune systems are not nearly as functional as a normal person. It's much harder for them to get over the flu, and it can stick with them for a lot longer time and can actually lead to worse things such as pneumonia.
Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thanks for
Andy.
having me.
It was nice meeting you. I told you in the beginning that this topic would apply to you, and this is how. With the flu scare last year involving the H1N1 strain, we want to keep you informed and ready for the upcoming flu season. So in the field, we have Suzanne Conway bringing tomorrow's news to you today.